Alrighty, this is Zach Hale, aka Chaos Incarnate, with another Photoshop tutorial. This time around, what I'm going to do and demonstrate and hopefully teach is how to do energy sprays. Notably, in this case, we've got Landmine just got his arm cut off by Brawl, and so I'm going to put together this panel that's going to involve a energy spray here, and also I'm going to put a little bit of motion blur on the sword itself. So first I'm going to start with, again, sorry for the clackety-clack, the microphone on my computer, my teeny computer. It's not really very far from the keyboard itself. I'm going to start by making a new layer, and I've just got my brush tool here. I'm going to make it a nice big brush tool. I know when I click that button it makes it sound like I'm beating my head against the keyboard or something like that, but I'm not. Then I'm going to take my blur tool. Whoops, hold that down, change it to my smudge tool. And I have my smudge tool on this spray paint brush, and I discovered this a while back, that when you use the spray paint brush with a smudge effect, it does some really rad stuff. Although unfortunately smudge effects take a lot of processing power, and so isn't the quickest thing in the world, but it makes some pretty rad looking effects. I am gonna actually pause this for a second while I do those smudge effects, just for the interest of time. I don't want to bore anybody to death. Alrighty, yeah, if I'm guilty of anything, it's probably overusing effects. I use this from anything from energy sprays like this to use it for muzzle blasts and just all sorts of interesting stuff like this. For this one, though, I'm going to go back to my brush tool, which is here, and I'm going to go back down to my little spray, my little sparky tool, and I'm just going to toss in some sparks all over the place. This is different from a muzzle blast. It's, you know, that he's actually getting his arm chopped off, and it's very graphic. And now, zoom out a little bit just to get a good look at the whole thing. I'm definitely going to want to put some... Oh, by the way, you'll notice here, this arm, I actually, when I took the shot, I moved that back and forth as I took the shot so that I could do that as a practical effect. Save me a little bit of Photoshop time. So I've got this layer here, and I am just going to apply a radial blur to that, a zoom radial blur, and this box right here represents my picture here, and so I'm going to put it about there, put the amount down because I don't need it quite like that. If you've been in the wrong place, you can always just undo it, and again, Control-Z is your friend when you're opening Photoshop. It's actually your friend in a lot of areas. Looks like I put that, well, you know, that's almost in the right place. I'm going to put it just a little bit higher. Go back into my Radial Blur. If I were to do the Control F, then it would use all the same settings and not change them up at all. And I want to put in a little bit of a different. So that's going to work out. I definitely want to put some glow on this. I usually use the color blue for any kind of, you know, instead of like robots don't have blood, I figure they have, like, you know, energy coursing through their veins or whatnot. So I use a light color of blue to signify that. And that is going to be right. Again, there's enough blur on the outside of the shape that you get the blue effect without putting the size up like that. Although it does look really nice. I kind of want the definition on the sparks, but I should have done this as 2 layers. I fail. I guess what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually duplicate this layer. And then this bottom layer down here is going to get the definition, and then this one, I'm going to increase the range on that outer glow simply so that it makes a bit of a brighter looking glow. Okay, yeah, that's pretty sexy right there. And that's pretty much it. Go back to my brush tool. I've got that on my Sparks brush. Go back to my regular little fuzzy brush here. And I'm going to select all of this blade. And this is going to have a little bit of a motion blur applied to it. So it looks like, you know, he's slicing it down. When you're selecting stuff for motion blurs like this, you actually want to get a little bit outside your shape. See how I'm just going a little over the edge? I'm not doing that because I'm sloppy. I'm kind of a little sloppy anyhow. But I'm doing that on purpose. Honest. I meant to do that. So that when it makes its little shape, you know, when it makes if you have it too close to the shape of the object, then when you apply the blur, then there's some cutoff when you get to the edge. Whereas if you make it bigger than the shape, then you don't get that cutoff so much. And I'm not even going to apply a huge blur here. Okay, hit Q again. That's going to undo the quick selection mode. I'm going to hit Control C for copy, and then I'm going to do this. This is actually kind of interesting, what it does for me. I'm going to go to my motion blur, and the angle of the slice is about like that, but I'm going to make this a really short, like that. Then I'm going to go Control V, and that will paste in the copy that I took right in the same place. And this I'm going to do the same thing, apply a motion blur to it, but I'm going to apply a huge motion blur so that it stretches out a bit more. And then what I do here, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. And then grab my move tool, and actually I'm going to move this up. And it's kind of a subtle effect. Maybe I could have added in some noise before I blurred that to make it a little bit obvious, but yeah, it works. And so, Control Shift Save, stick it in here with all the rest of my other panels, and that's really all that there is to it. So there you have it, some energy spray effects and a little bit of motion blur stuff, and that's it for this tutorial. Hope to see you again sometime later. Bye.